Welcome back to the channel, guys. I got my water, I got my coffee, and we're going to react because The Athletic, the New York Times, ranked the 100 best players at the World Cup 2026. So we're going to go through the list. We're going to see what we think of it, initial reactions. Figured this would be a good upload to put up here tonight. I wanted to react to this. I actually was trying to figure out for a couple days how the hell to even view this website because the New York Times is paywalled. I never understand, too, why websites will paywall things because how, I know the New York Times is the New York Times, but how are you going to continue growing if you paywall something, a business? I don't understand. I can't tell you the amount of articles I've clicked on from certain websites where I just see it's a paywall or I got to make an account. I'm done right away. So I basically, I'm not going to say I illegally put this website into anything because I would never do that to actually view the website, but we're going to go in with a raw reaction here. I haven't seen any of this, so I'm not sure, but obviously we've got incredible players playing at this World Cup. And we're going to give some honest reactions, guys. So you guys let me know in the comments below when you're watching this video with me what you think is the craziest, what you think is, a player that's underrated, overrated, stuff like that. So let's read through here. And I know it's in light mode. I apologize. There's nothing I can do about that. I can't change it from the light mode. I already tried. More than 1,200 players will travel to the World Cup Finals next June. The joy of a tournament like this is that these players will range from the richest superstars in the world game to also those that are barely professionals. These sort of articles are inevitably subjective, but we have tried our best to put measurable criteria. Okay, that's fair. So let's see what they're saying. I'm cool with that. So we created 5 categories with each player awarded a mark between 1 and 5. Their scores were then totted up and placed in order. So the 5 categories, here we go. Current form. For this, we use scores provided by FootMob. Shout out FootMob. I love FootMob for how each individual is playing this season. Okay. Historical performance. We'll be honest, this was subjectively awarded based on each player's career achievements, both individually and as a part of a team. Importance to their nation. Same as above, a subjective score out of 5 given to each man based on how key we think they'll be at the 2026 World Cup. Transfer value. This was taken from Transfer Market, but a crucial point may be made. This tended to disproportionately penalize the older guys whose transfer value is inherently lower, but whose impact at this World Cup will not necessarily be less significant than a player 10 years ago. What? Rating on FC26. Oh, my God. Is that a paid ad from The Athletic? Oh, man, that's crazy. Bro, they're giving these Canadians the validity of ratings, brah. Oh, my God. You may well scoff at this, but sorry, I can't speak that well. Astonishing amount of research goes into how players are rated on these games, and frankly, it's almost as good of a method objectively determining an individual's quality. Okay. Oh, we're just starting with 1? Damn, should we both, let's go to the bottom and go up? I'm going to actually do this because I don't even want to see who's there. So let's go all the way to the bottom because I would rather do it that way. Let's go all the way to the bottom. Okay, we're here. Sorry about that. Here we go. So number 100 is Kubo. Okay, a gifted Real Sociedad winger who has long been put on a pedestal as the future of Japanese football. Listen, I think Japan's going to be super legit at this World Cup. Cunha at 99. Most national teams have a positional problem. Brazil actually have a few. Their fullback options aren't too high, but center forward has been an issue. Cunha could solve that. Okay, Mitoma at 98. Gilberto Mora at, wow, already being hailed as a generational talent. Mora will be a lot higher on the 2030 edition of this list if his upward career trajectory continues. Okay, Dean Huijsen at 96. Huijsen has suffered a slightly sticky start to life at Real Madrid this season, partly because of his form, but now because of injury, and he might have to accept he will not start every week for Alonso even when fit. Okay, Alexander Pavlovich, not yet played 100 senior matches in his career. I'll be honest, I love this guy. I think this guy is so good. So, look, I'm not going to be super critical with these ratings probably until we get to 30. So I'm not going to spend too much time down here unless I think somebody's super low on this list. I like that. I feel like that's fair. Competition for forward places in this France squad is obviously incredibly fierce, but Ekitike has the talent to be right up there with the best of them. The question is, can he maintain his challenge for his spot in the team if his club, Liverpool, are in such dreadful form? That's fair. Dude, Rodrigo is still only 24? Is that real? Am I off that I don't even know how bro is he actually only 24? Oh my God, dude. What? That's crazy. All right. Obviously, Rodrigo's got to be on this list. Love seeing Esteval in here. Wow, so they have Esteval over Rodrigo. But let me tell you this. I put this out on IG the other day. I think Esteval is so legit. Nicholas Jackson for Senegal. With his pace, movement, and agility, a confident Jackson is a striker to be feared. He tends to score prolifically when in the mood, although competing with Kane and Mane at club and international levels does limit his minutes. With Mane? Nah, bro. Ter Stegen? Nah, bro. What? You're kidding me, bro. Ter Stegen's on this list. Considering Manuel Neuer was all around for almost all of his international career, Ter Stegen's total of 44 caps since the 2012 debut is actually pretty impressive. Neuer was one of several German players to retire after Euro 2024, so the gloves are now Ter Stegen's. Yeah, I don't know about that one. 89, Pau Cubarsí. Has already played in 6 Clásicos across 3 La Liga seasons and won 10 senior caps for Spain. Yeah, I mean, the fact that I know we got Dean Huijsen on here too, but you look at the future of Spain with Huijsen at 20 and Cubarsí at 18, like Spain they're going to be top 3, top 4 teams in the world for the next, I don't even know how long. Camavinga at 88. Is versatility a blessing or a curse? Blessing. That's it. All right. Zubamendi at 87. Kusunov at 21. So obviously he's getting to 86 as well because of his importance to Uzbekistan, for sure. He's one of their most prominent players. Rafael Leao at 85. Yeah, Leao is obviously when Leao's on his day, bro. And obviously, you just think about the athleticism and the speed and the ability that left side on Portugal has. Oh my God, man! With Nuno Mendes and Leao, ridiculous. Xavi Simons. Simons has had a tricky start to life at Tottenham, but he's still one of the most creative forces for the Dutch. I think that's fine to have him on there. Brahim Diaz. Guys, watch out for Morocco, man. I mean, seriously, watch out for Morocco. They are always just cooking. So let's see how they do at the World Cup. Okay, Diomande. Wow, Ivory Coast. So obviously you can see the youth definitely on here as well. You got a lot of players that are really young in this early first 20 of the players that we're seeing here. Semenyo, who I've literally loved watching play. It's surely a matter of when, not if Semenyo moves to a Champions League level club now that he's become a big fish in a small pond. A very joyful player to watch. Did they write Bosch? Isn't that a UK or like a EU term? Bosch? They said Bosch on here. Reinders, what a player, by the way. It tells you plenty that even with Gravenberch and De Jong to compete, Reinders is still a key part of the Dutch midfield. What a player. What a player. Tonali for Italy, not picked for Euro 2020 and suspended for Euro 2024. This will be Tonali's first major tournament should Italy make it. Aggressive and positive, his game has evolved in the past year to the point that he has become one of the Premier League's most complete midfielders. Over Reinders. Marmoush. The heir apparent to Salah's crown as Egypt's great attacking hope. For the moment, Marmoush is his primary support act, but he also complements Salah really nicely coming off the left of Egypt's front 3. Marmoush, listen, bro, when he can get going, he's a stud. So, I think there's a lot of potential here with what Egypt could do. I mean, I feel like Salah's actually got some help on this team this time around. Let's see if Salah can find himself and, play at the level he needs to play at. Dani Olmo, literally loved this guy. If Dani Olmo was not getting injured all the time, this guy is in the top 50. So important to Spain's success. No way I would have Gavi over Olmo. So this is where I think they've got transfer values. Considered. I like Gavi, but Olmo is just, I feel like, more impactful, at least when it comes to Spain. Marcus Thuram at 75. Kai Havertz at 74. It feels like Havertz has been a long-term temporary solution for both club and country. Arsenal and Germany have frequently fretted about not having a genuine center forward and hankered after a more traditional 9. He's probably more important there to his national team than his club. Yeah. Tchouaméni at 73. Nico Williams at 72. And I've been seeing the Barca fans have been like, yo, thank God we didn't get him because they were going to spend so much money. But obviously, we know on Spain, Yamal and Nico are cooking together. They are. It's just a fact. Kudus Ongana above Nico Williams. I don't know about that, guys. I think Nico Williams I would put higher on this list. Say what you want about the club. Phil Foden at 70. I call this guy the ghost of England because this guy ghosted. This guy has been ghosting for England, bro. So I got to be honest. I feel like this tournament for Foden is a big deal. Like, we got to see Foden taking his game to another level at this tournament because I have not liked his performances at major tournaments for England at all. Palmer at 69 is too low. Palmer should be higher. We know Palmer is him when it's time to be him. Okay, that's too low. Scott McTominay. Now, obviously, very important for Scotland and is having a hell of a season, so I'm okay with this. Bradley Barcola at 67. No way. No way he should be higher than some of the players we just saw. Bradley Barcola's got the finishing ability of my middle school teammate who had to wear goggles because his vision was so bad and even the goggles didn't help, all right? This guy, a lot of potential, a lot of flair, but when we see him in these tough matches, I don't know if this guy knows how to finish the ball, especially on that France team with who they have in that side. You're talking Dembele, you're talking Mbappe, right? I don't know, Olise. Where is Bradley Barcola being 67 in importance to France? Because bro is not going to see the field. Unless off the bench, there's no way. Olise, Dembele, Mbappe, some of these guys. You already had 2 strikers on here you were saying that might be in the rotation too. Ekitike and Thuram. You got Desiree Doué. So let me tell you this. Doué should be way higher than Barcola here, in my opinion. Considering age, considering potential, Doué is more than Barcola. Emi Martinez at 65. Guys, quite honestly, might be low. You may not agree with that. Emi Martinez has been, I will stand on this hill. Emi Martinez and Di Maria have been the reason. Yes, Messi has turned up, and the teammates have been there for Messi, and they've bought in, like guys like DePaul and McAllister. But, bro, this guy and Di Maria have been there for Argentina at the most important moments when they needed the two of them to help Messi. He's like, they're like, Messi, Batman, and Robin squared, the two of these guys. So I think Emi Martinez is too low. Okay? I love Mahrez. I think Mahrez is one of the most technical ballers of all time. I really do. Like, if you watch a Mahrez highlights tape, you'll realize what this guy was doing with the football. It's not normal. But to have Mahrez, again, this high on the list, I know he's very important for Algeria. At this point in his career, I don't know. This is probably going to be his last dance with Algeria. That seems a little high. Another player who is technically not definitely at the tournament yet, but it would be remiss to not include Barella. I always rate Barella. I actually thought Barella got robbed in 2020 of a Team of the Year. Would I have him at higher than some of the players lower on this list? Probably not, but he deserves to be in this list if with Italy, right? So Mike for France. Yeah, I just wouldn't have this guy over Emi Martinez. I mean, age, nationality, everything considered, no way. Koundé, when he entered the wider public consciousness, Koundé was a center back, but he has shifted to the right side. His form, yeah, it's not been great this season, but Koundé is deserving to be on this list. Trent at 60. I don't know about that. Marquinhos at 59. I'm cool with that. Marquinhos has been phenomenal the last couple years. Definitely cool with that. We got to start to think about on this list, too, when certain players are not included. Like, I don't want to go too crazy with this video and make it 50 minutes about who should have been in this list and who's not, who is and who isn't. But let me tell you this. I think Pacho Marquinhos probably, especially Pacho, because Pacho, in terms of his impact on Ecuador, it's going to be massive. If they make a run, it's going to be because he was playing insane. Now, obviously, he had a lights-out season last year. He's an absolute beast. I feel like him and Marquinhos may be a little bit low. They talked about how there's a weighting with FIFA ratings, and there's also a weighting with like how important they are individually to their team. So that's probably why we saw Mahrez at 64, and we saw Kasonov at 86, because they're very important to their sides. That's why I'm a little surprised that Trent is on the list there as high as he is. Gravenberch at 57. Guardiola, I even think with how this guy has played internationally, this might be a little low. Boys, sorry, my mic fell. But as I was saying, I think Guardiola is definitely low. Like, I think he's deserving to be in the top 50. Doku at 55. He had that breakout Euro season. So, again, it's okay to put Doku at 55. Doku, this tournament is very important for him. Very important, especially with this Belgium, golden era, golden generation kind of being done. This is a big opportunity for him to kind of show himself again, like what we saw originally at the Euro. Because we were like, yo, what the hell is bro cooking at the Euro? And obviously, Lukaku can still get you goals. De Bruyne's still passing. But look, guys on that golden generation, Alderweireld, Vertonghen, and Hazard, these guys are out already. How many other names are there? Chadli, Dembele, Fellaini, right? All these guys, right? So a lot of those guys are already on the way out, and it's time for somebody to step up for Belgium. Enzo Fernandez at 24 might be underrated, might be in the top 40 for me. They're saying that basically he's at 54 because his FC 26 rating is a little bit lower. Odegaard at 53. What do we think? I don't know about that, bro. It says Odegaard will be ranked better than 53rd for not for his injury issues and his nation's lack of recent success. Cody Gakpo at 52. Perhaps a little underrated sometimes, but there's no arguing this remarkably consistent record. Gakpo averages bang on 0.5 goals per 90 minutes across his club and country. His form has dropped for Liverpool this season, but he's the most important player in the Dutch attack. He does turn up for Netherlands, to be fair, guys. Wow, Taremi at 51. I have a viewer that's going to be very happy to see that, and that's the national team importance coming on here. This is the point on this list where a big score in a single category can boost a player's ranking. Taremi might not be playing at the top level of club football these days, although he's still banging in the goals, but he is still a key player and main goal threat. Taremi's a baller, bro. Not going to lie, he is a baller. Rudy at 50, one of the highest placed center backs on our list. Okay. Well, he better start defending at Real Madrid. Ruben Diaz at 49. Given Portugal's attacking options, it would be easy and understandable to forget about their defense, but they have one of the 2026 World Cup's most more solid performers there, and Diaz was quietly become among the most experienced and reliable defenders in Europe. Okay, maybe it's a bit high, but respect Ruben Diaz always. Alex McAllister, Alexis, love this guy. 48 is fine. Lauti, 47, that's fine. Lauti went crazy at the Copa America, guys. Wow, crazy. Wirtz at 46. Bro is playing horrible this season. For his standards, but will he turn it around at some point? And we always know we get a good performance out of him with Germany. What I'm wondering with Wirtz, is Musiala going to be like, we saw him back in training. It's big for Musiala to play for Wirtz. I know that they kind of occupy the same position, but when those two are out there, Germany becomes another level. Some people argue that it's better to only have one of them. When they're both out there, we were seeing it. I mean, guys, look, you could argue with that last Euro that Germany would have been winning that Euro. It was not for a handball, right? So that's how close they played that amazing, unbeatable Spain team, right? So Germany, I think, is still a bit of a sleeper going into this tournament because they don't have the big-name team that they had a way while back. But the style of play they were playing, and as Wirtz and Musiala mature, they're only going to get better. So, I expect Wirtz to bounce back. Bruno Guimaraes at 28 years old, at 45. Wow. Okay, good for him. João Neves at 44. I think that whole Portugal midfield should probably be in the top 30. Alphonso Davies, I mean, look, obviously he's had a couple injuries now, but obviously he's so important for Canada. Alisson at 42, amazing goalkeeper. Saliba at 41. Xhaka, I love this. Xhaka getting some respect, getting some love. He's always been there for Switzerland. He's always been turning up and playing well for them. Love to see that. Pulisic at 39, I'm okay with that. Pulisic has been in the form of his career, and he's the most important U.S. national team player. So I understand, he's been cooking for a club. If he carries that into the tournament, it's going to really help U.S. What's a good goal for the U.S.? Probably get into the round of 16. Mane at 38. I think that's a little high. Guys, I'm going to be honest with the Saudi League. I don't watch the Saudi League. I don't even know what's happened to Mane. I feel like I see all these Ronaldo highlights, and I don't even know what's going on. He plays on Ronaldo's team. Son at 37. I think this is definitely high for Son, but, he's super important for them. So, I get it. Frankie de Jong at 36, I agree. Nuno Mendes at 35 is too low. Listen, if Portugal win the World Cup, it's because Vitinha, João Neves went crazy. I'm going to be honest, because the way that PSG was so successful is they just dismantled teams with that trio of players. They did. That's the three that would win them every game. I know the guys like Dembele and Desiree Doué and Kvaratskhelia get a lot of the credit, but those three were just units, including Pacho and Marquinhos. Defenders will always be underrated. Musiala at 34. Yes, we're hoping this guy gets better. What a footballer. Modric at 33. Bro, 40 years old. He's going to be lacing up those boots, man, for that World Cup. Wow. I love Alvarez. Alvarez is deserving of all the praise he gets. He's amazing. I want to see Alvarez go to Barcelona one day. Bastoni. It's perhaps surprising to see Bastoni so early on this list. It's not surprising. It's not surprising. If Italy make it to the World Cup via these March playoffs, he will probably be their key man. That's not surprising to have him that high. I just don't like including them if they're not 100% in. But Arda Güler, I listen. What a player! What a player! He's gonna find his own. He went crazy at the Euro, so high hopes for him. Bruno Fernandes at 29, Kimmich at 28 is probably too low. That's probably too low. I would say Kimmich is probably a top 15, top 20 most important player at this World Cup. So let's see who they put above him. Valverde at 27. Valverde at 20. I love Valverde. Do we think Valverde is more important for Uruguay or Kimmich is more important for Germany? Because I would argue maybe Kimmich, but I love that they probably should both be higher. Courtois at 26. Wow. Listen, I will always remember the Belgium games he had. It was at the 2018 World Cup. Oh my God, man. He was going nuts at that World Cup. Who do we have here? Oh, Ronaldo at 25. Ronaldo's been cleared to play at the World Cup despite a red card in Portugal's penultimate qualifier. Still going, still scoring goals. If Ronaldo finds the net next summer, he'll be the first to score at 6 World Cups. So this would also factor in. This will also factor in. He hasn't made the top 30 in Ballon d'Or voting since 2021, so you could argue he's actually too high. Listen, this is what I will say about Cristiano Ronaldo being at 25. It's obviously high. A lot of people think Portugal would be better without him. What I will say is that's not fair to say because I felt like at the Nations League, he played insane, which is the most recent tournament. He played way better than he played at the previous 2 tournaments for Portugal. He looked like he meshed well. His form was better. He was playing more simple. And he really, I felt like, helped the team get that tournament win. So I'm not against it. Olise at 24, it's one of those where I'd probably argue you could put him higher, but he still needs to have a breakout tournament for France. But I still would argue you could put him higher with how talented he is. Gabriel at 23. He's going to, listen, if Brazil make a good run, he's going to be a big deal with that run. Him and Marquinhos, because I think Brazil are going to have to find their way defensively, and their fullbacks aren't great. So it's going to take these 2 guys going crazy. Hakimi at 22. Hakimi is so important for Morocco. So important. So important. Agree. Caicedo with Ecuador. Man, watch out for Ecuador, man. Caicedo and Pacho. Boom. Boom. They're saying that 152 mil price tag looks like a bargain. Dembele at 20. You may wonder why the 2025 Ballon d'Or winner is only 20th on our list, but his current form, injury hit season rating is low. Otherwise, he'd have been top 10. At his best, Dembele is the football equivalent of human electricity. Wow. Salah at 19. Salah at 19. Declan Rice at 18. Declan Rice is definitely very important for England. Lewandowski at 17. So this is definitely the nation factored in because I don't think, Poland, they're not going to win the World Cup. And Lewandowski has never really played crazy for Poland, but he's the most important player to Poland. Saka at 16. Wow. So Palmer and Foden were all the way down there on the list, but they got Saka at 16. To be fair, Saka has been very good for England. Luis Diaz at 15. I totally agree with this. Very important player for Colombia. Rafinha at 14. It's a big tournament for Rafinha, man. Big tournament. Vitinha at 13 probably should be higher. Rodri at 12. Manchester City still haven't recovered from Rodri's long-term knee injury in the 24-25 season with continued fitness issues in wake, leaving a gap that it feels impossible without spending a fortune. VVD at 11. Guys, VVD has been horrible this season, so hopefully he can figure it out. It feels like we're kind of getting past the prime of VVD now. Donnarumma at 10, another Italy player. KDB at 9. That seems high. My reaction is that seems high. Messi at 8. Words are difficult at this point, so perhaps this should just be a picture of a beautiful golden sunset over a pristine, perfect Miami Beach. It will be every football's fan's true pleasure to watch this higher self perform at one more World Cup. Messi at 8. I thought Messi might actually be in the top 5. Vinny. This will be Vinny Jr.'s second World Cup, but the first where he will be truly out of a fellow forward Neymar's shadow. We actually don't know that for sure. Because Neymar's definitely past it, but Neymar might play. If Neymar's healthy, bro, and ready to go, he should play, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, though. Jude Bellingham at 6. Insanely important for England's success. Pedri at 5. Love Pedri, man. One of my favorite footballers in the world to watch. Harry Kane at 4. Now, Harry Kane, for me, was not good for England at the last Euro. Say what you want about stats. I felt like for his standards, this is the tournament for Kane that he needs to go nuts. And England, man, have been so close for so long. I really think if England don't win this tournament, it's just such a failure. I haven't said that yet about them because they've been making strides and they've been closer and closer, but they need to win. They need to win. This is a must-win World Cup for England, in my opinion, with the talent they have, the players that are in those forms. Lamine Yamal at 3. I'm cool with that. Number 2, Haaland. Haaland at number 2. Now, I'm curious to see with Norway. They've been cooking. I want to see if Haaland can cook with that Norway team at this tournament. That is the interesting part to me. We've seen a lot of great strikers be on nationalities that weren't the top 8, top 9, and really struggle at tournaments. I want to see if he can get that output and if Norway can make a crazy run. And then first is Mbappe. Guys, Mbappe at 26 actually has the chance. Like, France is a favorite for this World Cup. If France wins, that's his second World Cup. He has the chance to do something really, really special. He's going to at least have, for sure, 2 more World Cups after this, you know? He's going to play at 30. He's going to play at 34. So, you know, Mbappe really has a chance to do something special. I'm rooting for him because I love Mbappe. And I hope Mbappe gets a Ballon d'Or this year. I think Mbappe is like the best player we've seen that really recently has not got a Ballon d'Or. He's ridiculous. So hopefully we can see that. Guys, let me know what you think of this list. It's definitely interesting. I think there's some players that are a little like out of place here, but you know, they've got definitely the important players here. You know, like just as a footballer, there's certain players that are lower on this list. And, you know, there's other players that are really high that I feel like are way past it already. But I understand the ranking is based off of the many factors they've outlined. So if you guys like these videos, we'll do more of these. Drop a thumbs up and see you next time. Peace.